Okay, welcome to QuirkWorks, and this is the very first video, and today we are going to be taking a look at building a 3D printed RC car, particularly a 3D printed RC three-wheeler. Let's take a look. Now if you take a look at what I have so far, you'll notice that we have two wheels in the front and one wheel in the back. Now I have encountered some problems where the center of gravity and the center of pressure aren't right, and we know that the heavier end of a moving object wants to try to lead the lighter end. With this, the center of gravity is not in the right place. So going forwards, it just wants to flip around, but the motor is trying to push it this way. Now, what you might be saying is, why don't you just have it drive this way? I mean, that's okay and all, but I think it would look cooler if you were to have it drive this way. So today we are going to be taking my old design for the RC three-wheeler, and we are going to be redoing it, refabricating it, and making it drive better. With this brushless motor controller, you'll find that it is mostly found in brushless racing drones and stuff like that, and you'll notice that I have soldered an L7806 voltage regulator to it, and the voltage regulator takes any voltage higher than the regulated voltage. So I have a 6-volt regulator here. You can put anything higher than 6 volts into it, up to about 36 volts, and it will regulate it down to 6 volts. So you'll notice that I have soldered one of them to my ESC, that way I can provide my receiver with power, and that way I can run the vehicle. Now, you might be saying, why didn't you just use the pins on your LiPo battery or whatever that you're going to be using? Well, I mean, I am using LiPo battery, but if you take 2 of those pins and plug them into the receiver, then that will drain those cells in the LiPo battery, which will make it unbalanced, and if you forget to unplug it or something like that, then it will over discharge the cells, and you will then destroy your battery. So I prefer not to do that. That way we will just be using the L7806 voltage regulator. Now, TPU is a very flexible material. If you had taken PLA and printed something just like this, you would not be able to twist it like this. Very flexible material. Squish it, bend it, twist it, still it's perfectly the same. Now I can put that back on my tire, and it fits perfectly. So for the rear tire, I have used TPU, and that way it gives it a good cushion. When it hits a hard object, you will notice that the front also has a TPU rim, and this is to provide good traction in the front. I had 3D printed this out of PLA, and the front would just slip around everywhere. That also may have been to the center of gravity issues, but printing out of round TPU also adds a good amount of traction to it and grip on smooth floors like hardwood and stuff like that. You'll notice that I also have a servo directly connected to the main steering bar. Now the problem with that is anything that hits the main steering bar will throw the servo off and possibly shred gears in it and break the whole. It'll break parts in the servo. So on the newer design, I would like to take and move the wheels in closer. It'll then have a smaller turning radius, but that way it isn't as large, and we can move the wheels either backwards or forwards more to give it that right center of gravity. That way it'll drive in a nice straight line, and you can go fast and it won't spin around. Alright, that concludes it for the first part of this video, and the next part will be designing the frame in Fusion 360 and 3D printing it. Thank you.